there's some weather ahead. Hopefully it's not too bad.
Sticker and our patch.
We begin our adventure today at the Visitor Center. From here we'll be taking the North Unit Scenic Drive, which is a 14-mile one-way trip from the Visitor Center to Oxbow Overlook. They estimate the round trip time is around 1 hour with minimal stoppage. They also advise that during winter some of it may be closed.
Today you may see a small herd of 10 to 25 longhorn steers obtained from the Fort Niobrara National Wildlife Refuge in Nebraska. The herd is maintained as a reminder of the bygone open range cattle era. Next we are headed to the slump block pullout, and it's supposed to be a good spot to see all of the erosion that has taken place to the hills here.
This pullout was pretty interesting. It was about how erosion affected the landscape here many years ago with the Little Missouri River flowing through there. So pretty interesting. Now we're on to the next one. We're at the Cannonball Concretion Overlook. It shows kind of how these cannonball rocks were formed and how erosion kind of formed them. And they kind of look out of place here, but pretty neat in general.
They look kind of like little alien pods, like little eggs that are waiting to hatch that are, are emerging from the rock behind us. Pretty fascinating looking. Getting ready to start the Little Mo Nature Trail. We're going to do the paved interior loop. It's about 0.7 miles. Got the small backpack on today, just our rain jacket since we had a little bit of rain moments ago. Snacks and water just in case we need them. It is definitely buggy right now, so hopefully they don't get too intrusive and we're able to still take our time and enjoy the hike. We are at the trailhead for the Little Mo Nature Trail. We are just going to do this short inner hike. The outer loop is unpaved, but just for time reasons, I think we'll probably stick to the paved section of the trail today. There's a little trail guide to start you out that explains some of the plants and birds that you might see, and then also a little bit about the river. This is one thing we've seen a little bit of, I think, so far. This blue-gray material is called bentonite clay. It says, even though volcanoes have never been in the area, the clay is composed mainly of volcanic ash that's drifted in from prevailing winds from other areas of the globe, I'm assuming, world. So we have seen some of this. There is a pullout later that it's supposed to be pretty nice where you can see a lot more of that as well. This little picnic area here, and I'm not sure if they have fires here during the winter time, but as soon as you get close to it and walk into it, you can smell the smoke smell. I'm not sure if it's just kind of ingrained into the wood, into the stone after years of use, but it is strong. These are the perils of hiking. We have come to our first danger on this paved trail. How will we ever get through? All right, come on, I made it. We made it to the river portion of this trail. Here you have the Little Missouri River. It's definitely murky looking. I don't know if it's all the mud and sediment from the river or if it's just not too fast flowing to kind of clear it out and make it clear water.
Just saw some wild turkeys on our way back to the car. Looked like a mom turkey and then like several of her young. And when they saw us, they kind of just skirted into the shrub, so they were much more difficult to see.
Finished with the Little Mo Nature Trail. GPS says it was about 0.91, I think. It's a little bit longer than the 0.7 that it advertises, but we did actually see some wild turkeys, so that may have accounted for the little deviation in the distance when we walked over to try to get a better picture of them. The sun has come out, so the temp has definitely increased. Now we are off to see the other stopping points and overlooks through the park.
This is the Long Nexen Trail overlook, and in this overlook what it does is it gives you a good example of all the different layers. Land used to be covered by sea, and then as it disappeared, just layers and layers of sediment built up. Those are the different layers that you see. We are heading to the Riverbend Overlook. From the car, it looked pretty impressive. We've just finished up at the Riverbend Overlook. That shelter that you see in the background, it's pretty interesting. Back in 1937, the Civilian Conservation Corps, they came out here and built it. They didn't quite know what this area was going to be, whether it was going to be a park, just a national monument or whatever, but in 1937 they started building it because they knew that the scenery was so beautiful that they wanted to keep it and preserve it for future generations.
This is the overlook for, I think it's Bentonatic. I think we've been saying Bentatonic earlier, so we've been saying it a little bit wrong. But it's supposed to be the overlook to look down and see a lot of this bluish gray clay. The only problem is there's a lot of trees blocking the vision down into the gorge. So we've been looking just more at the lines that you can see in the rock above.
We are here at the Man and Grass Overlook, and it pretty much says what it is. You have a man, and then you have grass. Man and Grass Overlook. But in reality, this is a place where the bison hang out. So we're right around noon or so, so it's probably not the prime bison viewing time. Probably early in the morning or more at dusk, we could probably see. We got a first look at some wildlife here. Looks like a cow.
Just leaving the edge of Glacier pullout. It wasn't one that was listed in my book that I had copied and brought with us, but it was on the park map. Not entirely sure why it's called Edge of Glacier. It did reference that this area is mostly grassland and not forest, because forests can't really grow and survive here since they're not getting enough moisture coming up and over the Rocky Mountains. So our best guess is it's called Edge of Glacier because the Rockies would kind of be that waterfront or glacial moisture that could help a forest, but since it's not getting it here, it's really just the grasslands instead.
We have just finished our last scenic overlook along this scenic drive. It's the Oxbow Overlook, and what it does, it just provides a view of the winding Missouri River. It's actually pretty cool to see. On the information board up there, I guess, they give you a little bit more information about that last scenic overlook that we had is the edge of Glacier. Here it basically says that the glaciers, this is the farthest the glaciers were north, and then the Missouri River got pushed east and west instead of north and south, and so it kind of created all the windiness that it has. So overall, pretty decent overlook, good overview, and a good view of the landscape.
We are wrapping up our time here at the North Unit of Theodore Roosevelt National Park with just a little bit of lunch before we hit the road to where we're going to lay our head tonight. So overall impressions, at least for me, I think I like the South Unit better. Now granted, a lot of that is based on the fact that the timing of when we got to the South Unit, we were able to see a lot more wildlife because it was in the evening, where right now we've been here for the better part of the late morning into early afternoon, and so there's not much activity. But you know, I think it's still a great park, good opportunity to get a chance to get out here and just see what there is.
Yep.
That's not a recap. What are your thoughts?
It's cool. You did wonderful.
He's a dud. You're a dud.
Wonderful.
Wrapping up lunch, so we're going to see you on our next adventure, Voyageurs National Park in Minnesota. Cheers.
Little Jimmy, don't make me take you to Christmas land.